of the missing model, brought to you by Quiznos.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm Detective Haldegian.
Yes, come in. I'm Mrs. Polnar.
I understand that your daughter is missing.
Yes, Jane left the house at 3 yesterday afternoon for the doctor's office. She never came back.
Was she ill?
No, she needed a vaccination. She's a model and was going to Mexico for a big fashion show tomorrow.
Did she keep her appointment?
I really don't know. She packed a suitcase and it's upstairs. You ask about the doctor. I'm sure she was seeing one.
Well, how can you be so sure?
Charles Motley said so. Charles lives next door. He told me that about 5 o'clock when he was coming home from work, he saw Jane and a man arguing in front of Dr. White's office. Charles said he saw the man grab Jane by both arms and force her into a car and drive off with her.
Well, was Charlie a friend of the family?
He was engaged to Jane. She broke off the engagement last month. I suppose he's still brooding.
I need to use your phone. I suspect that Charlie is lying.
Why? Do you doubt him? You haven't even talked with him.
The new double steak cheese sandwich is now on the menu, but only at Quiznos. Treat your taste buds to a double portion of slow roasted black Angus steak topped with mozzarella and cheddar cheese, sauteed onions, mild peppercorn sauce, and then toasted to perfection. It's double the steak, twice the cheese, all for $5.39. Now for our story.
You know, Murphy, there's something about this Polnar case that really bothers me, and I'm not sure what it is.
Well, would it help if I checked out some things for you? I could call Dr. White and find out what time she was supposed to be there, and then I could find out when she was last seen at that modeling agency. And then I could call GSP and find out if Jane was booked on any flight to Las Vegas.
Boy, that'll help me out a lot, just sorting that out that way.
Okay,
Thanks.
I'll be right on it, Inspector.
Inspector Haldegian.
Inspector, this is Mrs. Polnar. I haven't heard from you. I thought you were going to get back with me. Have you heard anything about Jane yet?
No, Mrs. Polnar, not yet.
Well, are you still on the case? You said you would talk with Charles.
Yes, and I'm still on the case. And Charlie said he would be here this afternoon to talk to me. In fact, he's here right now. Yes, I will keep you informed.
Charles Motley, Inspector.
Thank you, Sergeant. Good morning, Charlie. Have a seat. That was Mrs. Polner.
It's Charles, Inspector. Please.
Thanks for coming in, Charlie. I'd like to go over what happened on the day of Jane's disappearance.
Sir, it's Charles.
Sorry. I just want to go over it with you. Maybe you might remember something you overlooked, Charlie.
Charles. Please, Inspector. My name is Charles. As I told Mrs. Palmer, I was leaving my office on Woodruff Road about 3/4 of a block east and across the road from Dr. White's office. I noticed Jane in an animated conversation with a man whom I believe had been seen with her before, but didn't recognize him as someone that I knew. Sight, build, mustache, wore a tight-fitting gray overcoat. He grabbed her by both arms, pushed her down onto the front seat of the car, and went around to the driver's side and got in.
Didn't it seem to you that there was something wrong and she might need help? Didn't you call out to her?
Well, sort of. Yes, I did call out. But I don't think she heard me. Too much traffic noise, I suppose. I started to cross the street to go towards them, and the heavy traffic prevented me from going across, and by the time I was able to, they had driven away.
Did you see the make or model of the car?
Japanese make. I think it was Honda or Toyota. Maroon, late model four-door sedan. And I'm not quite sure. No.
Well, did you get the license plate number?
At that distance, and with the sun setting, absolutely no.
Can you remember anything more? Anything that might help us a little?
Well, really, it happened so fast, Inspector. I'm afraid I'm not much help.
Well, what time of day was it?
About 5 o'clock, I was leaving my office.
And where did you go then?
Home, yes. And when I arrived, Mrs. Palmer was outside getting her mail, and I told her what I had seen. She became very upset and went crying inside the house. Since the breakup, we aren't really speaking so much to each other, so I went back into my house.
What did you do then?
I fixed my dinner, ate, watched TV, and went to bed.
Stayed home all night? Anyone see you or call you?
Yes, I stayed in, and no, I didn't see or talk to anyone, Inspector. You know, she recently broke up with me and broke up the engagement. I still love her, and I'm pretty upset about it.
Well, why did she break up with you?
Really don't know. We had been sweethearts for a long time, throughout high school and even after. She had been acting strange for some time before the breakup.
Strange? What do you mean?
Indifferent, disinterested, and distracted. I kept asking her what was wrong, and she said, well, it was about work, and that she had to work it out herself.
Well, is there anything else that you can recall that just might help us?
No, Inspector, I wish there were.
Well, if you do recall anything, please call me. Here's my card. Thanks for coming in, Charlie.
It's Charles.
Beside the Angus double steak and cheese sandwich, you may choose from a large selection of sandwiches, such as our deli, chicken and turkey subs, or a variety of salads, Caesar, chicken, or honey mustard. I'm sure you'll find something to please your palate. Let's return to our story.
Oh, what do you have there, Inspector?
I just had a Italian wedding soup and a focaccia sandwich.
Oh, okay.
Well, Detective Murphy, I haven't seen you here in a while.
Well, on my salary, I can't eat at a place like this very often.
Inspector, what is that all about? Give this young lady a raise, and today you will have everything on the inspector's tab.
Oh,
Okay?
thank
So
you.
order big.
I'll have what he has.
Okay, perfect.
What do you have for me, Murphy?
Quite a bit, Inspector. Jane had not been to the doctor in 1 year. And she had not been at the modeling agency since the day before Mrs. Polnar called you. And here is the corker. There was no fashion show scheduled for Las Vegas.
That's really quite interesting.
Well, I'd like to go to the Upstate Logistics where Charles works and see if he was at work the day of Jane's disappearance.
Good idea, Murphy. Call me after you find out.
I'll get right on it.
Yes, Murphy. What did you learn? He wasn't, eh? Well, you bring him in here now. He's not there? Get right over to his home and pick him up and bring him in here. I need to question him some more.
Here he is, Inspector. He didn't give us any trouble at all.
Hello, Inspector. Did you find out what happened with Jane?
Have a seat, Charlie. No, we haven't, Charlie. As a matter of fact, the reason I wanted you to tell me why you lied to me.
I didn't lie to you. And call me Charles.
Sit down, sit down. You told Mrs. Polnar and me you saw Jane and this strange man when you were coming home from work. Your office reports that you weren't even in today.
That is correct. I was out in the field working, picking up a few contracts. I brought them into the outer office, gave them to the receptionist. The people inside probably didn't even see me come and go.
How convenient, Charlie. Murphy, take him downstairs and book him for kidnapping and suspicion of murder.
What? I am innocent, Inspector. I love her.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say will be held against you.
What?
You have a right to an attorney.
What's going on here?
And if you can't afford one, we'll get one for you. Inspector, you got to hear this. One of the models from the agency called me and said that she might have something that we would be interested in. And she said that both Jane and the agency's owner haven't been in the office since Jane disappeared.
Anything else?
Yes. Rumor has it that Mr. Roberts, the agency owner, and Jane were having an affair. And they were going out to lunch together, and they weren't coming back into the office.
Well, we'll have to check into that, Murphy. Oh, hi, Captain. Really? When did you find that out? I'm so really surprised. Thanks for the information, Captain. Well, Murphy, it's all over. Captain Williamson of the Easley Police Department, he solved our case. Bodies of a young woman and an older man were discovered at the Moonlight Motel in Easley.
Really?
Yep. And the body was identified as Jane Polner and William Roberts. A note from Roberts indicated murder-suicide, and Jane wanted to end the relationship and was going to tell the wife. Apparently, he killed Jane and then himself.
We booked the wrong person. Wow. I guess that wraps it up. Huh, Inspector? What now?
I'm going to go downstairs to Holding and release Charles Motley and apologize to him.
Good, good.
You know his name is Charles.
You're right.
Then I'll drive him home and break the news to Mrs. Polner, and while I'm out there. You know, Murphy, I guess I was all wrong in accusing him of the crime. I think I'm just going to have to quit this business. I hate to find myself guilty of putting the wrong person in prison. And now, on behalf of our sponsor, Quiznos, we wish you a good night and pleasant dreams.